There are photos of Brie Larson that Hollywood never wanted you to see. Not the glamorous red carpet ones, but the quiet shots taken when no one believed she would ever rise again. In one of them, she is sitting alone in a dim rehearsal room, her face half lit, holding a script she was told she would never be good enough to lead. In another, she stands behind a curtain before an audition that would shatter her confidence completely. These rare images reveal a woman who built her career not on instant fame, but on bruises, rejection, and an iron will hidden behind soft smile. Yet the most haunting part of Brie Larson's story is not her rise to stardom, but the secret she once carried about why she nearly abandoned acting forever. Why did the woman who would later win an Academy Award almost walk away from Hollywood before fame even arrived? And what truth hides behind the controversies that followed her after becoming Captain Marvel? Today, through forgotten photos and untold memories, you will finally see the parts of Brie Larson's life that the spotlight never illuminated. Brie Larson was born Brianne Sydney DeSaulniers in Sacramento, California, into a family shaped by creativity but shaken by emotional distance. Her parents ran a small chiropractic business, but the home never felt steady enough for a young girl with a restless imagination. When Brie was 6, she told her mother she wanted to be an actress, not because she craved attention, but because storytelling felt like the only place where she could express emotions she could not articulate in real life. Her mother recognized the spark, yet fate intervened when Brie's parents divorced. The separation cut through her childhood like an invisible wound. Brie, her sister, and her mother left their home behind and moved to Los Angeles with barely enough money to rent a tiny apartment. They slept together in one room, sharing a mattress on the floor, because it was all they could afford. It was during these fragile years that Brie experienced the first sting of rejection. She auditioned endlessly, but was repeatedly told she was too shy, too awkward, not marketable, or simply not right. The rare photos from this era show a young girl standing outside casting offices, with a notebook clutched tightly to her chest, her determination stronger than her fear. She adopted the stage name Brie Larson because most casting directors could not pronounce DeSaulniers, and she hoped a new name would help her reinvent herself. Instead, it only pushed her deeper into the silent pressure of trying to prove she belonged in a world that judged her before she even spoke. That insecurity became the first hidden scar that shaped the woman she would one day become. Brie's breakthrough did not arrive in a glamorous burst of stardom. It arrived through a series of roles that slowly peeled back the layers of who she could be. She started with small appearances on television before landing a recurring part on United States of Terror. The role allowed her to explore emotional shades she had never touched before. But everything changed when she stepped into the heartbreaking world of Room. The production was grueling, demanding a depth of vulnerability that forced her to confront the pain and isolation she once carried in childhood. Rare behind-the-scenes photos from this film show her sitting quietly with her co-star Jacob Tremblay, comforting him between takes with a warmth that came from real memory. Her performance tour through Hollywood like a storm. She won the Academy Award for Best Actress, a moment that should have crowned her with pure triumph. Instead, she stood on that stage with tears that reflected joy and exhaustion in equal measure. Fame wrapped around her like a heavy coat, and she entered the Marvel universe at a time when her life had barely adjusted to the Oscar spotlight. Becoming Captain Marvel elevated her to a global icon. Magazine covers praised her strength, while critics questioned her every expression. She trained for months, pushed her physical limits, and embraced the responsibility of carrying a billion-dollar franchise on her shoulders. But the rarest images from this era reveal something else. Photos of Brie between interviews, her eyes tired, her posture heavy, as if she were bracing against a storm of expectations. She had finally reached the golden era of her career, yet it came with a price she never anticipated. Brie Larson's love life has always been far quieter than Hollywood prefers. Yet it is precisely that silence that fueled rumors, speculation, and misunderstandings. Her long-time relationship with musician Alex Greenwald seemed perfect from the outside. They shared creative passions, lived together, and even got engaged. Fans believed she had found stability at last. But rare candid photos taken during their final year together reveal a distance between them, a quiet sadness in her expression that hinted at an emotional shift. When they broke off the engagement, tabloids rushed to paint a scandal that was never there. Brie remained private, offering no dramatic explanation. Behind the scenes, the pressures of sudden fame, travel, and Marvel obligations weighed heavily on her personal life. Her every interview was dissected, her statements twisted into controversies she never intended. Some viewers accused her of being cold, arrogant, or dismissive, based on brief moments pulled out of context. One rare photo from a press event shows her sitting alone backstage, scrolling through her phone with a look of disbelief after learning that another harmless comment had turned into online backlash. The public rarely realized how deeply those controversies bruised her confidence. She had trained all her life to tell stories, not to navigate hate campaigns, and yet she endured them quietly, choosing grace over confrontation. That decision only added to the mystery surrounding her, making her one of the few actresses whose scandals were never about outrageous behavior, but about the harsh misunderstandings created by modern fame. There was a period when Brie Larson nearly disappeared from Hollywood, not because she lacked roles, but because she felt emotionally drained, creatively suffocated, and overwhelmed by the weight of her own success. Rare photos from inside her home studio reveal a version of Brie few people recognize. She is sitting at a desk covered in unfinished lyrics and discarded scripts. Her hair tied loosely, her gaze lost in thought. She had once dreamed of being a singer before acting overshadowed everything. After Room and Captain Marvel, she felt cornered by the pressure to deliver perfection every time she set foot on a set. Her confidence cracked under the constant microscope of social media. She retreated from public appearances, reduced interviews, and intentionally stepped out of sight. Hollywood insiders whispered about burnout, while fans wondered if she had been pushed out of the universe she helped build. In truth, she was quietly piecing herself back together. She practiced guitar alone at night, returned to writing music, and reconnected with the artistic freedom she had lost along the way. It was during this period that she confronted her deepest fear. She admitted she had no idea who she was outside of work. The woman in those rare, raw photos carries an expression both exhausted and determined. She was breaking down, but not giving up. She was learning how to rebuild herself without losing the parts that fame had taken. Brie's return to the public eye was subtle, intentional, and filled with the quiet strength of a woman who had finally reclaimed her identity. She embraced projects that aligned with her values, worked on smaller films, and explored directing with a newfound sense of confidence. Away from the noise of Hollywood, she nurtured talents people rarely knew she had. She recorded music, again, painted, learned new skills, and shared glimpses of her life through candid photos on her social platforms. These images show a woman enjoying sunlight in her kitchen, laughing softly with friends, or practicing stunts not for a blockbuster, but for personal joy. Brie also opened up about her journey with anxiety, explaining that healing was not a dramatic comeback, but a slow, gentle process. She cultivated friendships that grounded her, focused on family, and began appreciating success not for the applause, but for the creative freedom it granted her. Her happiness today comes from balance, not fame. She has learned to love the parts of herself she once hid from the world, returning to the industry with clarity, patience, and a maturity shaped by years of quiet. Transformation. This new chapter is not about reclaiming the spotlight, but about living authentically, creating art that reflects her soul rather than her obligations. Brie Larson's story is not the tale of an overnight star, but the journey of a woman who fought through rejection, misunderstanding, heartbreak, and pressure to finally stand confidently in her own truth. Her rare photos capture every chapter, from the shy girl outside casting offices to the Oscar winner holding her breath backstage, from the Marvel icon battling criticism to the quiet artist rediscovering her joy. Her life teaches that success is fragile and fame can distort even the strongest spirit, but resilience grows in silence, and healing can begin in the most unexpected places. If her story has moved you, if these forgotten moments and hidden memories reveal the side of Brie Larson you never knew, then stay with us for the next journey. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let us continue uncovering the rare photos and untold stories that Hollywood keeps in the shadows.